It's still on the screen. This is good, but it hasn't given me zeros. And there are zeros. All right. I'm going to be quiet for the next 5 seconds.
Okay.
Good morning, Sheila. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Wayne. I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for asking.
Super.
And welcome everyone to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we talk about communication skills and verbs as we are attempting to change the world in a positive manner, one verb at a time. Sheila, are you doing well? Are you doing good? Are you having fun?
I am having fun, Wayne. This word that we've selected today turned out to be quite interesting.
Oh, and what is that verb for
It's
today?
just a 3-letter little verb, which is to try.
Ooh.
And before we get started, though, I have a trivia question to answer that we can think about, and I'll answer at the end of the show.
Okay.
And it is, what advertising slogan that includes the word try was so popular in 1971 that mothers today still use it to convince their children who are picky eaters to eat broccoli?
Ooh.
So don't answer that now if you're thinking about it.
Okay.
But as soon as I say it, if you can't think of it now, as soon as I say it, even if you weren't around in 1971, you'll recognize it. So that's for the end of the show. But I've got a couple definitions for to try, and I know you'll have more. The two that I have are to make an effort and to put to test or trial.
Okay. And I have to attempt to do something, as you just said, to test something,
Okay.
to see if it is suitable or useful, or even if it works. To examine a person accused of committing a crime in a law court by asking them questions and considering known facts, and then decide if they are guilty. And the last one, to worry or annoy someone or upset a person's patience with many, often slight difficulties.
You're trying my last nerve.
Absolutely. And and growing up, I was the younger brother, so it was my job to do I and A for my brother. I and A is inform and annoy. So so I know that last definition very, very well.
You tried your best and you succeeded.
He chased me around the block many times.
Brothers are not so different from sisters, as it turns out.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is our episode number 72.
Wow.
I can't believe it's been 72, but that's okay.
Okay.
And where would you like to take us on our journey of try today?
The first thing I thought about try went kind of in a negative direction, because it seems like the word to try has built in a possibility of failure. It's kind of a lack of commitment to see something through. I'll try to be on time versus I will be on time.
Okay.
And so there's less action to do your best. But then as I started thinking about that further, I thought, well, it's the beginning stages of an attempt. So in the beginning of a new activity, you don't know if it's going to succeed or not. So in a way, it turned it into a positive word for me, because there are all sorts of new things to try. And so I'll pause there and see where you went with it.
Well, I had some initial thoughts, much like yours.
Okay.
And then I remembered that Jennifer Milius and I, in our book, we talked about. Thank you for letting me mention that.
Absolutely.
We basically talked about this throughout the book of leadership, trying, doing things, but I strayed from the book a little bit, and I went on some points like this. And I think that the secret of success is to try, to fail, and to have a little bit of luck on the side.
Never hurts.
Because out of failure, we learn.
Good point.
And with that, as I say here, why try? Because it's the starting point. We have to put one foot in front of the other to move forward. If we don't try, and I'll save that for the last thing. So please please help me remember to say that
Okay,
at the last.
at
I'm going to
the
move that to
end.
last. Yes. But anyway, so imagine what it would take to pursue a successful goal or to pursue a something that you want to try to get there. What's it going to take? It's going to take a lot of effort, and some things have a very short span, while other
Mhm.
things, if you're trying to pursue it, has a much more lengthy, maybe even years planning. And here's an
Mhm.
example. If
Okay.
you were 17 years old and wanted to speak in front of a group, that might not be too hard, too difficult. That's pretty short-lived there.
Mhm.
However, if you were 17 years old and wanted to become a doctor, a surgeon,
Mm.
then that's going to take a lot more time of
Right.
trying, of doing things. But
Right.
trying has many levels of
Yeah.
entry and exit,
Yeah.
and we've got to be we got to be pretty divisive, not divide, decisive
Ah,
as to what it is that we want to do.
yeah. Yeah. But the other side of being decisive about what we want to do is that um, my husband took a seminar once, and it was about the future retirement, thinking ahead before you're right there on the cusp of retirement.
Okay.
And they talked about low cost probes, and those are try something new and just dip your toe in the water so you don't invest a lot of time or energy into it. And if you like it, then you know that's a direction you can keep going in. But if you don't like it, then you know pretty quickly that you can take that one off your list and go to the next one.
Yeah. Exactly. And in okay, now I go back to the book.
Oh,
In our
yes.
book, um, I have I have this acronym that I devised or developed or thought up in 1975. I think I thought this up, and it's called SIP cubed,
Ah, yes.
SIP cubed, and I pronounce it SIP cubed. And what it is what you kind of just said is as you're thinking about it, as you see yourself doing something,
Mhm.
you've got to ask yourself a few questions.
Mhm.
One is, now, what do I want to accomplish? The second question is to answer the question, why do I want to accomplish it? And then the third question that you have to ask yourself is, how do I get there from here? Meaning, what
Mm.
talents do I need? Excuse me, what skills do
Mhm.
I need? What resources do I need that I may or may not have? Um, and then the fourth thing you have to do with that is put all of that together and put everything in motion and commit to it
Mhm.
every second of every day. Much like doctors practice medicine and lawyers practice law, we have to practice that whatever it is that we want to do every day to get there. So we've got to be committed, and it's got to
Mhm.
be, again, it's got to be your vision. You have to believe in yourself,
Mhm.
and you have to let failure become a small part of that. So don't
Mhm.
make failure a big thing.
Right.
Failure just means, hey, I didn't get there just yet, but I can do it again. And many of us have done this, and I'm going to ask you a question. Excuse me, I have my throat is tickling.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to ask you a question because, and I will ask our listening audience, think about the first, second, third, 15th time, I don't care, when you were playing darts and you wanted to get the dart in that bullseye. And how many of us on the first throw got the dart in the bullseye?
My hand
Oh,
is not raised.
well, okay, I'm sure you did get one probably on the
No.
first time, but
No, 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 no.
I'm sure someone did. The thought process is here though, we failed to do that, but we kept trying and we kept learning. Okay, if I throw it just a little bit harder, a little bit higher, it will stick this time and not fall on the floor, or I will hit the bullseye. So my point is, it was little failures, but we didn't see it as a failure. We just saw it as a, oops, I have to course correct and do something different
Yes,
to get
yes.
it there.
You know who's really famous for that?
Who's that?
In Albert Einstein in inventing the light bulb, and I can't tell you how many times he tried to do it before he succeeded. But I have a quote from him, and that is, "Our greatest weakness is in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just once more."
Ah, it's strange that you have a quote from Albert Einstein, because I too, later in this series, I have a quote from Albert Einstein.
Well, I can't wait to hear how close it is to this other quote of his. I have a hunch he said a lot of stuff.
I'm thinking I'm thinking you looked on my paper or I looked on yours, and we have the
No.
same quote that's coming up. So I'm gonna let you. Chivalry is not dead. I'm gonna let you, the ladies, have it first. Go ahead.
Well, no, I just gave it.
Oh,
That
oh,
was the
okay.
quote.
I thought you had another one for me. Okay.
Oh, I have other quotes, but this was pertinent to what you were just saying. So,
Okay.
but thank you for
But
your generosity.
and think of this: trying is believing in yourself. Because if you
Yes.
if you don't believe in yourself, then why are you trying it? Because you might, if you're the introvert like I am, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not an introvert." Oh, yes, I am.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I find myself, my wife and I can go to a party, a function that she needs to be, and I can find a corner and be just as happy as if I had good
Mhm.
sense in that corner. by by myself, watching everyone else have fun and interact. However, I learned to be an extrovert,
Mhm.
and the way I got there was, okay, you got to try, you got to go, okay, just go out there and do it. And as I said, there's failure and there's success. And sometimes I got lucky and had a lot of fun, and sometimes I found myself, those awkward moments where both sides have said what they wanted to say, and then there was nothing else to say.
I am very familiar with those awkward moments.
And you're just searching for, okay, what else can I say to keep the
I
conversation
know.
going?
I know.
Okay. And you just hope that somebody comes and rescues you.
I have a secret formula for getting out of those conversations.
Oh, do tell.
It's called sweet, sour, sweet. And you say, "I have really enjoyed talking to you about X, Y, and Z. And I am getting the cue from my spouse that I need to go talk to them for a minute. So please excuse me, and I look forward to talking to you another time."
Ah,
So you say something sweet about what you just had, something sour, the bad
sour.
news, spouse is calling, or have to go to the bathroom or whatever. But sweet just wraps it up with a nice happy ending again. And then you make your escape.
So sweet, sour, sweet.
Yes.
Eh,
And
Thank you.
those were just an example of the words that I use. You don't use those very same words each time.
All right. And I like what you said about the big toe, dipping your toe in to see if you like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's what we call a litmus test, correct? Um,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
definition of a litmus test is remembering that one of the definitions of a litmus test is a test that uses a single indicator to prompt a decision,
Mm.
which is what you said. Now,
Hmm.
I used to swim in high school. I competed, so I swam like a fish then. I probably swim like a rock now, but but I would stick my toe in the pools nowadays, and if that water's too cold, I'm not going in.
Mm-mm.
And
No
people go,
way.
"Oh, wait, can you not swim?" Oh no, I can swim. I'm
Hmm.
just not going in.
No.
No, but and many of us do it, and we don't think about it twice. So, and here's another example.
Okay.
How many of you, because I do this, will pick up a book and read the back cover? If I don't, if the back cover doesn't grab me, I'm not going to read the book or buy the book. That was my litmus test.
Okay.
How many of you let's see, how many of you want a bit more and will read the preface of that book?
Hmm.
Because the back, okay, kind of grabbed me, but it didn't really enthrall
Hmm.
me. So
Hmm.
let's see a little bit more. How about this? How many of you like to watch a preview of a movie to help you decide if
Hmm.
you're going to want to watch that movie? Again, these are all litmus tests that we do just because. And how many of you will test drive a car before you decide to buy it?
Hands up.
Hands up, my hands up. One last one. How many of us will squeeze the toilet paper or thump a cantaloupe or a honeydew melon in the store.
Mm. I sniffed
And,
the end of the honeydew melon or the cantaloupe.
and what does the sniffing do? What smell are you looking for?
If it smells ripe, then I might get it if I'm going to consume it right away.
Okay. If it smells ripe. So, all right. Do you like sweet smell or a
Sweet smell.
sweet
But
smell?
then sweet smell, but then you could be overripe, so that's the challenge with that one. Like bananas that smell ripe, too old.
Too old?
Yep,
Okay.
too ripe.
And I was talking about bananas because I've tried this.
Okay,
You know those big brown spots on bananas?
I do.
I found that sometimes looking at a banana, I can sometimes tell, oh, there's a brown spot. But it's the brown spot that's different from the other brown
Mhm.
spots. So that is a good banana. I need to get that one and
Oh,
eat that one now
oh.
because there is and I don't know why, but I can kind of tell. Maybe it's because I was a cook
Ah,
and I've grabbed many bananas, but there's a certain color or discoloration of
mm,
the brown
mhm.
that you can look at it and say, oop, that banana is weeping inside.
Oh,
So that's not good. It's gonna be
oh,
that juicy, slimy
yeah.
thing.
Uh,
Where this other brown color gives you the effect that, oh, it could be weeping, but I look at it and go, nope, that's not weeping. That's a solid banana inside. It is just about to get there, so it's time to eat it now.
I'd go
And
ahead and try it.
I, and I do. I do. I love bananas. I'm
Oh,
allergic to them, but I love them,
oh,
but they're okay.
mm,
Yes, all right.
okay.
Yes.
Well, Wayne, I've got some stuff about to try. I love it when I find research done on a word or concept, but I don't want to interrupt you if you're in the midst of your previous story.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. Turns out there are huge benefits from trying something new. Um, for instance, you get a dopamine hit when you try something new, especially if it's successful. Your
Hmm.
theta waves in your brain increase, and these are also working when you're sleeping or in meditation, and it reprograms part of the brain associated with learning and memory. So you get
Okay.
increased flexibility in the face of novelty when you keep trying things.
Wow.
You are a more interesting person to talk to in those awkward social things. You can say, well, yesterday I climbed a mountain. And it boosts your overall confidence to try new things, even if you aren't successful at them. Keeps your brain ready to learn, helps you solve problems, and you're more likely to retain positive emotions and minimize negative emotions than people who have fewer new experiences.
Hmm.
And mice run through a maze more quickly when they are exposed to new mice friends or new mazes before they go to the big maze, not the big maze in the sky, but the big maze.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
so trying, even if you aren't immediately successful at something, has all of these huge benefits. And a note to parents: if your teenagers, being teenagers, are trying new things, give them new things to try that are healthy and safe, as opposed to drugs and things like that,
Ah, yes, of
smoking.
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if they're going to be doing it anyway, funnel them into good directions.
And I looked at it from a personal and a
Yeah.
professional side,
Okay. Yeah, I figured. Good.
and I didn't want to separate them because I think it's equivalent on being both professional and personal because we tend to do things and say things and articulate the way that we got there because a lot of times we say, hey, my personal goals are the same as my professional goals.
Hmm.
And so, all right, so I jotted down some points. Again, coming from a source,
Okay.
map out a plan. Be different. Do a litmus test.
Hmm.
Be bold.
Mm.
Now, being bold doesn't mean to be arrogant, But
Right.
observe what others are doing and have done, but be different. But again, make that bold statement that you're doing it, that you're trying it this way.
Okay.
Be tenacious. And here's my quote from Einstein. Einstein says, "It's not that I am so smart, it's just that I stay with the problem longer."
Ah,
And that's being tenacious. So stay with it. Stay with that thought. Stay with that dream. Stay with that vision. Stay with that commitment. And don't let those little errors become big. Don't let those failures become big issues. Just say, oh, wait, this is just like throwing darts. I just have to course correct this a little bit, and I will have a different result, different outcome. So know when to continue, to deviate, or full stop, and be confident in your decision. And that's the old adage of lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way.
yeah.
And this is getting out of the way of yourself.
Right, right. I did also do some research on things that prevent us from trying, and that kind of fits in with what you're saying. So, for instance, what holds people back from trying new things, in other words?
Hmm.
And fear is sometimes one of those. But
Aha.
curiously enough, this one was a surprise to me, but it makes total sense. Comfort. If you're
Comfort.
comfortable with where you are, you're not as likely to try new things.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because it takes a risk to try something new. It means getting out of
That
where
comfort
you are
zone.
presently. So if you're too
Yes.
comfortable, so there you
Okay.
go.
I understand. I
Mhm.
like that. Continuing with my personal and professional kind
Yes.
of thing, as
Yes.
you have envisioned yourself doing. I have now. How many of us? My hand is raised. How many of us, as little kids, as young adults, as adults, saw yourself doing something? I I can see myself doing that. I can see myself being this. I can see myself
Mhm.
driving, flying an airplane. Ooh, kind of cool. Again, when you want to do something, but you think you don't have the skills to do it,
Mhm.
take a class, take a course,
Yeah.
take a quick litmus test of that class. Oop, did I
Yes.
enjoy the
Yeah.
class? Did it grab me? Ask for a chance to try your hand in the event,
Mhm.
whether it's a personal thing or a professional thing. I know many times at work, I used to tell my boss or ask my boss, "Hey, I can do that. Let me try that. I can do that."
Mhm.
And the boss would go, "Oh, no, 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 you're not ready, or you don't have enough of this." No, no, no. And then I figured out sometimes, well, if I don't have what they think I don't have,
Mhm.
maybe I need to go get it. so so
Okay.
so again, taking a class, observing others doing what you want to try.
That's a good technique.
Try to be better. Just try to be better.
Okay.
Try to overcome weaknesses like you talked about last week. I think it was when we talked about the SWOT analysis.
Right.
Improve on your strengths, overcome your weaknesses, and try to overcome your fears, as you just kind of mentioned.
Mhm. Mhm.
Last thing I'm going to say on this, find out how to put yourself in the position to try. If you don't have the skills or knowledge at the time, go get them, commit, practice, and let people know. Here's one of the most important things. Let people know, such as your boss, that you want a chance to try that.
Mhm.
Because if they don't know, they'll always go to their go-to person. I can always go to Sheila because I know she can get it done. I can always, I can
Very
count on,
dependable, that Sheila.
right? Yes. And be ready when the opportunity presents itself. And when it does, jump in and try. Try, try, try.
There you go. Wayne,
Go
how
ahead.
much time do we have here?
We are at 24:08.
Oh, good. Okay.
Lots of
Uh,
time.
for our listeners, Wayne is the official timekeeper, and rarely do I ask ahead of time how much time we have. I'm usually at the end going over the time, because I was convicted as we were researching the word to try that to try to limit this to 27 minutes is not good enough. And I found that I had to outline some of those same steps that or follow through on some of the same steps you have outlined, which is create the goal, break it down into steps, and then commit to it. So 27
Nice.
minutes with Sheila and
Nice.
Wayne. Yep.
And Sheila, how can our listeners find you?
Why, thank you for asking. I have an email address, which is zekeandsheila.com, or excuse me, at yahoo.com.
Oh, so the Zeke and Sheila at yahoo.com.
That's right.
All right. How about your website?
zekeandsheila.com.
Oh. Okay. And they can find my website at www.mindsyncing.com. My email address, wayne@mindsyncing.com. And Sheila, if I may I say one thing before I get to your trivia question answer and the point that I wanted to make?
Yes.
I said, heck, this is our 72nd podcast. We would never have reached this point if we had not decided to try to do a podcast.
That's right.
And Sheila, with your help, I believe we can make our podcast even better.
Well, and we welcome any listener response too, because with your help, we can make this podcast even better. So please contact Dwayne or myself if you've got suggestions on what we can do to make it more interesting, useful, funny, helpful, any of those.
And Sheila, I gotta say again, thank you very much for saying yes and doing the podcast with. This is 72. Can you believe that?
No.
72 weeks of doing this.
Congratulations.
How fun. How fun.
Yes,
So thank you very much. Okay, the answer to your trivia question, 1971, moms. What is that?
It was advertising slogan that was used for a product. And so we're naming the product, and the naming the slogan has the word try in it. And moms today could still use that same slogan to convince their picky eating children to eat broccoli. Excuse me. That's number 2. Try it. You'll like it. That was for Alka-Seltzer. And a year later, the same advertising company came up with another great slogan for that company, which is, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. And I almost said that one first, but it's the try it, you like it is the answer to today's trivia question. So if you came up with that, congratulations.
I heard it, I know it, but I didn't come up with it. So
okay, but you recognized it.
I did recognize it. Absolutely.
Okay.
And the whole point, here's my takeaway. The whole point of this is you won't be able to do whatever it is you want to do unless you try.
Right. So try something new. Try a new restaurant. Try a new hiking trail. Try a new skill. Try a new instrument. Take your dog to a new place for a potty walk each day. Just do it. Just try it.
Well, great. And Sheila, I'm looking at the clock. It is about that time. Would you take us home, please?
We do thank you for listening to us. We hope you have a really great day. Thank you for Sip Cubed. I'm going to be thinking about that all week, Wayne. Sip Cubed. And I like your line to commit to it every second of every day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
For number 73.
73.
Thanks, Sheila. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.